स्टार्ट।
चलो बहुत बढ़िया। देखो उसमें देखो।
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, hi. I have just gone to your Facebook post.
yeah,
That's why I joined here.
yeah, sure. Thank you. Please join us.
Thank you. What will be the duration of this overall?
Overall, we are targeting to finish in 1 hour.
Okay, okay, sure. Thank you.
लोग जुड़ गए अभी।
Sir, so far we have around 15 people already joined us, 23 rather, and so most likely people must be joining.
कितने हो गए?
Sir, so far 23 persons has already joined, and
ठीक है,
Sardana sir
रिकॉर्डिंग
is
का
also.
कर लिया तुमने?
Yes, sir.
अब क्लैरिटी ठीक है?
Yeah, sir.
सर को पहली बार देख रहे हैं। भाई सर बारसी मीना मेरी टेक्नोलॉजी से पास आउट हूँ अभी 96 में सर।
थोड़ा कैमरा सही कर लो, शक्ल पूरी दिखा दो।
ओके ओके।
आधी मुंह दिखाई क्यों कर रहे हो?
जी जी जी।
कैसे हो मीणा साहब?
बस बढ़िया है सर।
कहाँ हो आजकल?
अभी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर में अटैच डायरेक्टरेट हमारा एगमार्क डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ मार्केटिंग इंस्पेक्शन।
कहाँ, दिल्ली?
अभी यही जयपुर में पोस्टेड है सर, रीजनल ऑफिस है इधर।
क्या लगता है तुमको, ये मिलावट का धंधा रुक सकता है?
हाँ,
आपका
क्यों नहीं
सबसे
सर?
बड़ा रोल है एगमार्क का।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, क्यों नहीं सर, कर रहे हैं कोशिश बहुत।
इवन एक्चुअली सर फर्स्ट वेबिनार में यहाँ के जो कमिश्नर हैं मिस्टर के शर्मा वो भी आए थे, बट थोड़ा लेट आए थे तो ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं हो पाया था। बट अभी सर मतलब डिफिकल्ट तो बहुत है सर, मतलब जिस हिसाब से चीज़ें हो रही है ना ऑन ग्राउंड पे, इट्स टू डिफिकल्ट।
कोई डिफिकल्ट नहीं है यार, मीणा साहब को पता है कि जिस दिन सरकार चाहेगी सब साले लाइन पे आ जाएंगे।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं सर।
जिस दिन सोच लिया ना मीणा साहब और उसके डिपार्टमेंट ने कि लाइन करना है, 24 घंटे में सब लाइन अप हो जाएगा।
नहीं, बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहा है हमारा तो सर। और अभी आपने जब मुद्दा उठाया है, बीच में मैं पढ़ रहा था अपने ग्रुप पे भी, तो उसी दौरान मिनिस्ट्री में भी काफी इसका एजिटेशन हुआ है, कई कंप्लेनें भी गई है। उसके बाद हमारा एक स्पेशल ड्राइव चल रहा है सर, स्पेशली ब्लेंडेड ऑयल में और मस्टर्ड ऑयल में।
ऐसा है, देखो मीणा साहब,
जी सर।
जितने मस्टर्ड वाले हैं,
जी जी
सिंपल सा, मैं आपको अलग से बात करेंगे,
जी।
मैं आपको नाम तक बता दूंगा कौन कौन से खिलाड़ी क्या क्या कर रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल, हमारी मिनिस्ट्री में वहाँ पहुंची है सर, और वहाँ से कुछ कुछ केस, कुछ लिस्टों का पता लगा है, डिटेल हमारे यहाँ तक से हमने लिया है। कई तो ऐसे हैं जो एफएसआई लाइसेंस ले लिया उन्होंने, उसके बावजूद ब्लेंडेड ऑयल में पैक किया होगा, तो ऐसी भी कुछ कंप्लेनें थी। तो जो हमारे यहाँ पैकर्स थे अबाउट 37 के आसपास ब्लेंडेड ऑयल लाइसेंस होल्डर है। इसके अलावा भी लोग काफी इधर उधर से नाम आए थे।
देखो, 2-3 काम कर लो आप। एक तो सिंपल सा खेल है आपका, जितना भी मिलावट हो रहा है उसमें तो एक प्योरली राइस ब्रांड आ रहा है।
जी जी सर।
तो ओराइजन ऑयल का टेस्ट कर लो, ऑयल।
हाँ,
जो ओराइजन ऑयल पकड़ा गया सीधा अंदर,
बिल्कुल
सोचना ही नहीं है, क्योंकि राइस ब्रांड में ओराइजन ऑयल है,
जी।
है ना। दूसरा, जो गड़बड़ हो रही है मस्टर्ड में, तो प्लेन खेल ये है।
जी।
दूसरा, जितनी भी कंपनियां हैं आपकी, उन सब में जो आपका डीओ निकलता है फैक्ट्रियों से, और खासकर दूसरा जो फैटी जिसको ये बोलते हैं, एसिड ऑयल, उसको ट्रैक करो कि किसको बेचा। जितने एसिड ऑयल वाले लोग हैं जो खरीद रहे हैं, उन सब पे सर्वेलेंस कर लो, वो सब उसमें ग्लिसरीन मिला के और मिलावट कर रहे हैं, और वो ज्यादा खतरनाक है बिकॉज दैट इज ए टॉक्सिक ऑयल।
गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
कौन? तुषार?
यस तुषार सर।
क्या हाल है यार?
एकदम
अपना कैमरा सही कर, पूरी शक्ल नहीं दिख रही।
अरे सर इतना तो दिख रहा है।
अब बेटर है, अब दिखा है, अब दिखा है।
एक्चुअली सर आई एम रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ आशु टेक्नोलॉजी एलएलपी, और हम लोगों ने CSIR NPL के साथ MOU साइन किया हुआ है RM एंड CRM के लिए। और अभी रिसेंटली लास्ट मंथ में ही जो एडल्ट्रेशन ऑफ ऑयल है उसके लिए हमने ऑल ओवर इंडिया में प्योर ऑयल लॉन्च किए हुए हैं टू चेक द एडल्ट्रेशन इन ऑयल।
अरे यार, एडल्ट्रेशन इन ऑयल के लिए प्योर लॉन्च की जरूरत है? जो कर रहे हैं उनको अंदर करो ना।
सर वो लीगल डिपार्टमेंट है, वो मीना साहब करेंगे ना।
मीना साहब, मुझे आप अपना जरा नंबर भेज देना अलग से।
जी।
So, sir, now is it 2:03. So, should we wait for some more time or we should
5
start?
मिनट रुक जाओ फिर शुरू। कितने लोग आ गए?
So far, sir, we have 35 people already joined.
2-4 मिनट और रुक जाओ, लोग कर रहे
Sure,
होंगे
sir.
ज्वाइन।
Yeah, we'll wait for 5 more minutes, sir. Yeah.
क्योंकि लोग कईयों ने पहली बार डाउनलोड किया होगा ये ऐप।
True.
थोड़ा सा time
They must be
लगेगा।
facing. Yeah.
Hello Vijay, how are you? कमलेश कपड़े इधर।
जी सर, हाउ आर यू?
फाइन बॉस।
यार शक्ल तो दिखा दो गुरुजी।
हाँ ओके दिखा देता हूँ, ठीक है।
सर कैसे हैं?
फर्स्ट क्लास।
कहाँ? बॉम्बे में, पुणे में?
बॉम्बे में।
क्या हाल है आसपास?
आसपास जो सब जगह है वही यहाँ है।
लॉकडाउन?
लॉकडाउन आजकल किसी को भी पूछो सवाल 10 होते हैं, जवाब एक ही होता है।
मतलब कोई ये नहीं पूछता कि कहाँ गए थे, सब पूछते घर पे ही है ना।
नहीं अगर पूछते हैं कि कैसे हो तो उसका जवाब भी यही कोई है जो है।
सही बात है सर।
सर, ये वाला क्वेश्चन मेरे लिए बहुत रिलेवेंट है। क्या हाल चाल है? मेरे जस्ट बगल में कल एक कोविड पॉजिटिव निकला है, जस्ट नेक्स्ट टू माय फ्लैट।
भाई अभी क्वारंटाइन हूँ भैया, सामने मेरे फ्लैट के सामने ही है।
सर सेम टू यू। मैं भी।
सर आधे से ज्यादा वैसे ही मिलेंगे, सब लोग होम क्वारंटाइन ही है। अहमदाबाद का भी सिचुएशन वैसा ही है।
Oil adulteration. Vijay Sardana.
हाय नारायण, हाउ आर यू?
Very fine.
कैसे हो?
Fine, sir, and looking forward to your presentation and also the expert panel, sir.
थैंक यू सो मच। सुशील, क्या स्टेटस?
Yeah, sir. So we have a 40 plus now.
आई थिंक वी शुड स्टार्ट, पीपल विल ज्वाइन।
Yeah.
और
Sure.
तुम वैसे भी तो रिकॉर्ड कर ही लोगे, तो
Yes.
जो मिस कर गए दे कैन सी लेटर ऑन आल्सो।
Yeah.
It has been raining down here, sir, so better to start early. Internet
Yeah.
connectivity.
या वी विल डू दैट।
मीटिंग को ओपन ही रखो, क्लोज मत करना।
हाँ, मीटिंग ओपन रखना सुशील।
हाँ।
डोंट क्लोज इट। दोज हु वांट टू ज्वाइन, लेट देम ज्वाइन व्हेनेवर दे वांट।
Yes, sir. Yeah, sure. And yeah, okay, fine. Also, I'm requesting the KNP team, just in the chat box, you can, please post the link of the WhatsApp. So in case people wanted to, see the video link of this webinar, they can always refer to the same WhatsApp. Okay, so we are going to start the session now. We are already at 2:06. We have 5 minutes. We have waited for everyone. So, and we are already 45 plus now. And so we are starting formally the meeting now. So I am Sushil Vaishnav. I am the founder of the KNP Arises Green Energy Private Limited. And our company is basically working in towards of collecting the waste oil, which is currently going into the hands of the different unorganized players. And these players use this oil for the mixing it again with the fresh oil and bring into our food plates again. So our prime objective, to restrict this particular adulteration and convert this oil into the biodiesel. So biodiesel is also another amazing green fuel which helps the environment and protect the lot of emission from the different vehicles, boilers, and so on. And in the today's topic, we have a privilege to have our esteemed speaker, Mr. Vijay Sardana. Mr. Vijay Sardana, probably, we don't need an introduction because we must be seeing him on our regular life on daily basis on different news channels. Mr. Vijay Sardana recently have made a statement about the middle class, actually that has gone viral. And we have seen in so many platforms. He has very nicely elaborated what exactly the middle class society is. Mr. Vijay Sardana is a techno-legal business consultant, also risk management expert. Mr. Vijay Sardana is the advocate in the Delhi High Court and arbiter ICA. Mr. Vijay Sardana is PGDBM IIM Ahmedabad, BSc Food Tech CFTRI, BSc Dairy Technology. Also, he has done so many different courses from the Harvard and the different universities. Mr. Vijay Sardana is also an esteemed panel of the different government organizations. He is a member in Niti Aayog. He is also participating. He's a member with the SEBI. He is member with the NABARD. So, it's a privilege to hear Mr. Vijay Sardana. And I would like to hand over the entire stage or webinar to Mr. Vijay Sardana, sir, so he can take us through today's topic, which is about the oil adulteration, associated health risks, and the need for regulatory reforms. Because in the current scenario where in the COVID, only our health, how strong our immunity is, how good what we eat, that's what depicts our future. So on these notes, sir, I will hand over this entire webinar to you, sir. And after your primary session, we will go for the question answer round, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sushil. In fact, it's a Sunday and in Delhi it's raining, so it's a good weather here, but we all are locked out because of Corona. And I welcome all of you on this extremely vital issue because there is no cooking in Indian kitchen without edible oils.
True.
And quality of edible oil is extremely important because when we are using any item for our food preparation, it must be pure, it must be good. Now, why we have picked up this serious issue of edible oil, there are various reasons behind it. I'm not saying that all other products are safe, healthy, or not adulterated. The reason why we have picked up edible oil because it has a very serious health and economic implication, and we found that there has to be beginning somewhere. So, considering the list of priority, we thought, why not we start with a simple product like edible oil, and we move into it. If there are any speakers on, if you can put on mics on, if you can put on mute, there will be less disturbance. Now, let me tell you why edible oil is becoming so important and why edible oil is so adulterated. We have to look at the reason behind it. First of all, see, today our requirement is something about 23-24 million tons of edible oil in this country. On an average, around 17 liters per head, we consider that average intake of edible oil. Whatever we are consuming as a country, almost 70% of that edible oil is imported. It means that as a country, whatever we are producing, we do not have enough supplies, we are importing. When we are importing anything in this country, obviously, besides quality, price is also a big determinant because whatever is cheapest comes into India. On the other side, if you look into the game, that in this whole consumption system, the way purchasing power is increasing, the way population is increasing in this country, the estimate is that by 2025, we will be needing something around 28 million tons of edible oil.
Oh, wow.
28 million tons of adipole oil means we will be, if we have to produce 100% in-house, means within India, then we need something about 83 to 84 million tons of oil seeds. And this is just impossible the way we look at agriculture, the productivity, the systems, the technologies available. It means edible oil will remain always a tricky business, both for farmers, traders, importers, and other processors. With this approach, if we look into the ecosystem, because of this disparity, and on the other side, our preferences in India, if you look into, the most popular oils in India are technically our native oils, like mustard, we have till oil, we have groundnut oil, which were considered as premium oil. And most of the households prefer to use our native pure oils. And these oils were preferred because of their organoleptic properties, because of their smell, because of their taste, and in various preparations like pickles and other things, because of color as well. Now, these products, which are God's gift to all of us, because of their organoleptic properties, unfortunately also become a prime target for adulteration. Because whatever you want to mix in that, take example of mustard oil. Mustard oil, pungent mustard oil, which is dark in color. Whatever you will mix in this, all other adulterants can easily be, you can say, submerged or go into hiding because of smell and color. Now, that is why today mustard oil is the most adulterated oil in the country. Now, what people are doing in adulteration? Let's come back to systematically what we are looking into and how we should look at it. On the other side, before I go into the theme of it, let me also look at why people consume edible oil. Is there any alternate to edible oils? We all know that in nutrition, we all say that, we should consume essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids are required for our normal body functioning. If I am not consuming edible oil, then I need other sources of fats and oils where I can get essential fatty acids, whether it can be milk source, or I will say that fat source from milk, or it can be in different places. Somewhere people can use oil extracted from animals or from sea creatures. It depends upon the society. But in India, which is primarily vegetarian, and our society generally avoid animal sources other than milk, predominantly we have vegetable oils and exclusive category, you can say, dairy fat. These are the two general things which we generally consume as a cooking media in our household consumption. As far as commercial establishments, students, whether it is processed food industry, whether it is snack food industry, or whatever we are looking at, we should be very clear that these are commercial establishments. For them, cost is the most important aspect. People do claim on their label that we use healthy oil, nutritional oil, but if you go into detail, end of the day, what is the decision making is purely commercial. That whatever is cheapest is their preference. And that is why when rice bran oil was cheap, all were using rice bran oil. The day rice bran oil became expensive than palmolene, overnight all corporates and companies shifted to palm. So overnight, the concept of nutrition was out of the window. Now, this is what we have to keep factor in mind, that as a household consumption, consumers are looking at sensory properties and commercial establishments are looking at price as a priority, and part of that, if in recipe requires, then we are talking about sensory qualities. Now, why people adulterate oils? We have to be very clear on that, and then we will go into details. As we know that oil is a tradable commodity. Trade means when you are doing trading, it means you have to make profit out of it. If I am not able to make profit through a fair means by doing business with honesty, then people resort to unfair trade means, then whether it is adulteration, then whether it is any other form of a manipulation, underweight, whatever you look at it, unfortunately, all forms of unethical practices go into business just to sustain the profitability, or if there are greed in the minds of promoters, then they go, even if the business is sustainable, they go for adulteration just to enhance their profitability or the cash flow. And this business is purely driven by greed when it comes to adulteration, because nobody is looking at the quality and type of adulterants they are using. For them, the difference between a pure oil, which is demanded by the consumers, and the cost of adulterant, which is the cheapest option available, that difference is the driving force, nothing else. Let me give you a few examples and then we'll proceed on that. Take example of mustard oil. As I mentioned to you, that mustard oil is dark in color, very strong aroma, which we call it pungency. Any oil which is substandard, which is not fit for refining, or which is, you can say anything which is dark in color, which can submerge into the color of mustard, is ideal candidate for adulteration as long as it is cheap. Number two, the point is that in the whole process, what are the oils which are cheap? Today, rice bran oil, which is coming as a byproduct of rice bran oil industry, which is not fit for human consumption or where the refining losses are very high, product with very high FFA, it goes into adulteration. Soybean oil, which is not properly refined and which is DO in color, we call it deodorized. It means we just remove the color, aroma of the oil, but we retain the color, because removing color also takes extra refining cost. So to save on the refining cost, because the dark color is suitable for mixing, that mixing goes into mixing in oil. Fortunately, these 2-3 products are oils, if let me put that way. Today, unfortunately, the more dangerous trend is when you do refining, during refining process, you take fatty acids out of it. Many, unfortunately, criminal mindset elements, those who are running companies, they mix glycerin with these fatty acids, reconvert that glycerin plus fatty acids into diglycerides and monoglycerides, and they mix back into the oil. Because when you mix back into the oil, there is no way you can detect what is added into the oil, because when you do the fatty acid analysis, you will get diglyceride, monoglyceride and triglyceride. Unfortunately, this glycerin plus diglyceride combination, which is a purely, we have heard so far about synthetic milk. You can call this as a synthetic oil. This synthetic oil is highly carcinogenic. It means if you are consuming this oil, which is mixed with glycerin and the product with, fatty acids, if it is mixed in edible oil like mustard, this oil becomes highly health hazard. Now we have two types of risk here. One is health risk and second is economic risk. And I've explained to you the sources of it. In a question and answer session, we can go into detail how it happens, what it happens, who do, why people do and all that. Now, what is happening here? Let me explain briefly. Health risk leads to cancer in the consumers. If you are using that synthetic oil, it makes the whole oil highly carcinogenic because of synthetic oil. Second, this oil also reduces the cost because that oil may be available at 30, 40, 50 rupees a liter, because it is a byproduct of a refinery industry, which there is no alternate use to it. So this is the cheapest so-called waste available from the refining industry, which people convert back with the help of glycerin and mix in the oil. So in a 100 rupees oil, if you are mixing a oil of 40 rupees a kg or 35, 40, 50 rupees a kg, you can understand, even if somebody is mixing 10% of it or 20% of it, you can understand in a quantity of 100 tons, what is the total margin one can make out of it. Second problem comes up is when you are mixing substandard or toxic oil into the good oil, then the good manufacturers, those who want to supply to differentiate between good and bad product, then what happens? Take example of mustard oil today. To make 1 kg of mustard oil, you need 3 kg of mustard oil, mustard seed. When you are doing this, it means today if mustard is on an average 40 to 45 rupees a kg, mustard 30 rupees a kg. But you go to internet, you go to various sites, you go to the market, mustard oil is available in 100 rupees, 105 rupees. In some remote area, you can even get it 95 rupees, 90 rupees. Point here comes up is that there is a message that there is a disturbance. So if people can switch off their, I will say mic or put on mute, that will help everybody.
Yeah, we request everyone, please put your mics on the mute because there is a noise
Sushil,
coming
if you
from
can do from control, that will help. If there is a
sir, actually, in this particular, we are not getting it.
Okay,
I tried
fine.
it.
So we will request others.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to 120, 130 rupees a pure oil, and if adulterated oil is available at 100 rupees or 105, how an honest manufacturer will survive? Because for consumer, it is very difficult to differentiate which is adulterated and which is pure. And unfortunately, what happens in this case, that all adulterated as well as non-adulterated all writes very, very, very clearly. There is another request that if you can switch off the cameras so that voice quality will improve. So I will request if those who are not speaking, they can switch off the camera. So in that case, what we have to look at is very, very clearly that this is a commercial offense against the honest manufacturers. And this is where the biggest problem is, that now, because honest manufacturer is not able to sell the product, he reduces the purchase of the oil from the oilseed from the farmer, and then the farmer starts suffering because he is not getting MSP or his cost of production of the crop. And that is leading to either stagnation in oilseed production in the country or decline in the oilseed production, because farmer is finding that there is no incentive for him to spend efforts and money to increase the productivity of oilseeds. So adulteration is not only a health hazard for citizens, but it also an economic offense against the nation and the farmers, and also against the honest manufacturers. And that is why our request to the policymaker is that when it comes to adulteration of food, it should be treated very ruthlessly, and there should not be any concession to any person who is, because nobody is doing adulteration by mistake. All adulterations are planned. It is not happening that in a farm of or in a field of mustard suddenly you are getting groundnut or you are getting palm. People are buying adulterant and mixing into oil. So it means it is an intentional act. It is not an unintentional act. In that case, there should not be a mercy under any pretext that we are lenient, it mistake ho gaya, chhod dijiye, baad mein dekh lenge. I think there should be a very clear law that any person who is doing adulteration should be treated as a criminal, and because he is hurting the health and national economy, so he should be treated as a criminal, not as a civil offense. And that is my first recommendation. Now, which are the laws which are applicable when it comes to edible oil? Edible oils are covered by FSSAI quality standards. We have AgMark standards when it comes to blended oils. And then we have a recommendatory standard which are through BIS. Incidentally, all three have a technical committee to look into the quality of oil. But when you read the standards of all the three agencies, technical parameters are different. And this difference actually creates more confusion, because people, those who do adulteration, they find a loophole between one or two systems and they carry on their businesses. For example, FSSAI in their chapter 22, they have 2.2 have standards for oil. Now look at, I'm giving you a few examples because there are too many things to look at it, so I'll not go into all, but which are important for us to look at it. In regulation 2.2, when it comes to oil standards, if you look at, there is no standard for color. Whereas in case of BIS, there is a norm for color. Now it is important for us to understand that when BIS talks about minimum standard quality, while making standard for edible oil under FSSAI, why they ignored such an important vital parameter? Because as I mentioned, that dark oil is used for mixing and used for adulteration. First recommendation is that all the three laws, whether it is BIS, whether it is AgMark, whether it is FSSAI, there must be a common standard parameter. Why there is a differentiation? There is no logic because it is a pure commodity. We are not talking a value-added product. We are not talking biscuits. We are not talking a variants of oil. When I'm saying mustard oil, when I'm saying soya oil, when I'm saying rice bran oil, when I'm saying palmolene or coconut oil or oil, they are pure commodities. Any deviation in the law actually gives a leeway for the manipulators to use that differential law and justify their crime. I am doing it under this law, not under this law. And that itself is a serious issue which all the three regulatory agencies, one has to look at it. Another area which has become a big source of manipulation, as long as we had pure oil in this country, the adulteration problem was comparatively less. But what has happened in the wisdom of to improve the better quality oil for consumer, and it is a pure science, we all know that no oil is ideal. In order to give a better oil to consumers, scientifically blending was permitted. Blending, if we do honestly and based on scientific parameters, it is a good concept. But the problem comes when they take the corrective actions immediately. In the wisdom, we assume that people are in business, all are honest. And based on that faith and trust, authorities permitted lot of combinations, and I will say virtually they give the blank check that those who want to do blending, they can do any form of any type of blending and just mention it on the label. But what companies are doing? Companies are simply mixing. I will say, I'm using a word mixing. They take the permission of blending. They also know very well that when I make a blended oil, there is a cost of marketing, there is a cost of promotion, and there is a branding activity required, which every company cannot do. But at the same time, the law says if there is an adulterant found in the factory, there will be punishment. The criminals have found a very interesting way. They take the license of blending, they take the license of mustard oil or groundnut oil, and then what they do is they sell mustard oil because mustard oil consumer knows, they buy it. They take the license of blending, they buy the adulterant oil by saying that we need this low cost oil for blending, so that any inspector when comes for inspection says I have a blending license so I can keep different oils. Inspector unfortunately is bound by the law. He cannot say that this is adulterant and he goes away. The same entrepreneur who buys the cheapest oil for the blending point of view mixes with the high cost premium oil like mustard, don't declare it as a blended oil and sell that adulterated oil as mustard oil to the consumer. So what they have done is they have taken the provisions of the law to bypass the regulatory system, to bypass the inspectors, to bypass everything and start cheating consumers, farmers and the country. Now issue comes up is when this practice has become rampant, should we continue with the same law? Because we have seen that people have misused it. And I think this is where we have to look at very, very clearly that this is high time we should go for reforms in food laws, and we should look at very clearly how we can go about it. Now coming into the point is what government can do. First point is when it comes to regulatory reforms, consumers are very much, Indian consumers like our raw oils. I'm saying raw oils which are not refined, like pungent mustard oil, which is pungent and dark color mustard oil. Your characteristic smell of your groundnut oil, coconut oil, till oil, all these oils which are fresh after just expeller, primary processing, which is a raw oil, consumers like them because of their sensory properties. Any person who is dealing with any of the raw oil must not get the blending license. That is first recommendation. Now people will say that people are not using it for licensing. People want to do blending. Yes, you can do the blending. You can do the blending of refined oils. We are not stopping you. But then there has to be a very clear demarcation, because unfortunately, when we say that if there are 100 licenses for blending, find out how many companies are selling blended oil and how many of those people having blended oil license are selling raw oil. There should be a forensic audit of all those people, and you will come to know the facts. I understand that this recommendation put many of the honest player into difficulty, but they should also appreciate that they can always grow in a good, efficient, enforceable system. They cannot fight with the criminals in the marketplace. So little difficulty will give them a better market access instead of having an easy option and fighting with criminals in the market. So that is one thing we have to be very, very clear, that raw oil should be treated separately than the refined oil when it comes to blended. Means all companies, those who have a raw oil license, must not get a blending license. They want to set up it, create a separate facility and create a blended oil. I have no problem. But mixing of the same thing is very, very difficult to monitor and control. We know it. Number one. Number two, all standards in the edible oil category in India must have color as a parameter. Any oil, whatever justification you can give, there has to be a very clear color marcation, because raw oils and refined oils are different things. So if you have a refined oil, there has to be a very clear color demarcation. Any oil which is not meeting color standards are used as an adulterant, because they are sold as a DO to the companies and they use it for adulteration. People can say that, many countries, codex may not have color standards and all that. There is no need to follow codex, because codex does not say that you do adulteration. If we have criminals and they misuse the system, you cannot go with a good. Internationally, there are standards for ethics. If standards are not following ethics, then we have to look at very, very clearly that we have to use the law. We cannot go with the self-governance and self-control model. So I don't buy the argument that because codex permits color and flavor in oil, should we allow? We should not. Because in Banaspati, people were trying to mix colored and flavor to convert that into desi ghee. And we made a very clear law, it should not be allowed. Even today, butter is suffering, even desi ghee industry is suffering because of artificial color and flavor. So we are dealing with different set of people. We cannot go with what the codex or international norms are. Second point is acid value. What is happening? The substandard oil with a high acid value is used for adulteration, because they cannot sell that oil as a refined oil in consumer market, it will violate the FSSAI and other guidelines. There has to be a very clear demarcation when it comes to transportation of any edible oil, or I will say that oil from oil seeds which are not meeting either raw oil standard or a refined oil standard, and it is something in between, that should be labeled as non-edible grade oil transportation. Because if I am selling a high FFA oil as a rice bran oil, then whether it is edible or non-edible, I don't know. So point here comes up is, if it is a refined oil like rice bran, you cannot take it out like a raw oil. You have to go through refining route. Either rice bran oil must meet the refined oil standards, otherwise it should be declared as non-edible oil grade standards. So it means anyone who is purchasing, his purchaser must have a law that says, I am purchasing non-edible grade oil from other supplier. That will also expose these companies what type of oil they are importing, because many of the mustard oil companies do not have refining facilities. So this will expose their malpractices that they are buying high fatty acid oil, mixing in mustard oil, because raw fatty acid, raw oil has an acid value of 5, whereas the refined has 0.5. Then if they are having 2%, 3%, 4%, this oil goes for adulteration in oil. And this is where one has to look at it, because this is where the adulteration comes into picture. Another area which is very, very important is, and which we have to look at, is that original standards. All original, all edible oil, like we have a argemone free standard. Every oil must have a free of argemone. I think this is very, very important, because anyone who is mixing oil, if he is mixing rice bran oil, if he's declaring as a blended oil, we have no problem. But the point here comes up is, when you are having a adulteration with rice bran oil, it must have a very, very clear thing that every oil must carry that it must be free from original. That will take care of your rice bran oil adulteration, and which is the major adulterant in the country today. So we have to refine our standards to control such adulterations. Now it is coming it very, very clearly that it is not difficult. So I will say, there are on the other side, let me add up another dimension which I am looking at it. If you look into the standards of even Companies Act, and this is what I am proposing to Government of India, under Companies Act section 148, it says that government can audit or specify the audit of specified items. My recommendation to all the policymakers is, why don't we make or ask auditors of all the food companies, whether listed or not listed, that under section 148 of Companies Act, all food company auditors must mention what were the raw material purchased, not just edible oil or vegetable oil, no, up to 8 digit, whether rice bran oil was purchased, whether mustard was purchased, mustard seed was purchased, all these items, because company law permits this, must be mentioned in annual report to the shareholder or to the ROC, so that we know what type of material companies are producing or purchasing, and then we will know what they are doing with that raw material, because rest is very easy to do, mass balancing calculation and quality calculation. So I think this is very, very important, that one side we strengthen the auditing system, on the other side we improve the documentation system, we change our standards of AgMark, we change standards of our FSSAI, and we follow the color coding of BIS, because it is already there, and BIS also has a technical committee, and there was a merit in bringing color into the standards. we should do that. And all of them, because we know that people will find ways out to manipulate. Criminals will continue to use the brain. They will not sit idle. We have to be vigilant all the time to see that how we can block this process. And one standard which I mentioned is free, like we are saying, free of argiman, we should say free of oryzanol, should be a mandatory guideline. And if we do all this, I think we will be in a position to control, let me say, about 70-80% of adulteration. I'm not saying that 100%, because based on this experience,
Hello, suddenly there's no volume is coming.
I think Sardana sir has also left.
Okay, might be probably some battery issue or something. Just wait for some while, okay? Yeah, could be some system issues. Just bear with us for some time. I'm trying to reach him out.
Sir is back now.
Okay. Hello, Sadan sir, are you back?
can you hear me?
Hello.
Sushil, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir, now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is in brief. I just wanted to share that it is high time we should go for a major reforms into edible oil sector.